How many of you would like to avoid an early death? And how many of you would like to know the reason responsible for that? Great. Thank you. In October 1998, when I was only 29-year-old, I was admitted to Fortis Escort Hospital in Faridabad. And there was serious reason for that. I had an angina. I used to have pain in my chest traveling to my arm and back. Not just that, my pulse used to race up to 150, blood pressure used to go up. This situation was prevailing from quite some time. Not just that, I had serious indigestion issues also, wherein whatever I used to eat, that used to come out within half an hour in the form of vomit, and I was not practically not able to eat anything. This situation had made my life worst. Quite often I used to rush to hospital with such complaints, and I had already undergone various courses of antibiotics, various courses of antidepressant drug even, I was regular on that, and also the digestion related drugs, but practically of no use. So doctor decided to carry out all the full-fledged testing on me. So they did echo, ECG, TMT, ambulatory BP monitoring, and for stomach they did endoscopy, wherein a tube is inserted through the mouth and reaches up to the stomach, and some pictures are taken of inside the guts, and some sample is also taken out by plucking flash of the inner lining to examine it further, and so many other tests as well. So after carrying out all, after 5 days they called me and told, Gurmeet, all your test reports are negative. That means you don't suffer from any kind of disease. You are fine. I said, doctor, but my problem is real. I have real pain in the chest. I have to vomit. There are serious indigestion issues. What can I do with that? They told me, just ignore it. Whenever such sensation try to prop into your body, just ignore it. Okay, but on the back of my mind, I was not convinced. I was of the frame that something is seriously wrong with me, which these doctors have not been able to identify as yet. So something is still wrong. Even after getting out of the hospital, this situation continued for 2 years, during which I tried all alternative pathies like homeopathy, Ayurveda, Reiki, and whatnot. Until I met a very senior, and he was around 75-year-old doctor whom I met at Sector 15 in Faridabad. Very experienced doctor. After going through all my records and examining me, he found and declared to me, Gurmeet, you are suffering from a very serious disease. It is hypochondria. So I had a sigh of relief. Finally, some doctor has been able to put in words what disease I am suffering from. But his second sentence was very shocking. He told, Gurmeet ji, if you are not able to cure it, you won't be able to survive for more than 4 to 5 years. Imagine the state of a young man of around 30-year-old with a beautiful wife and 2 very young children. The youngest was around 3-year-old. So what would be the state? जिसको एक वारंट दे दिया गया है कि 5 साल बाद you will be executed. So it was really a terrific situation for me. Check out hypochondria on the Google. You will find it states is the obsession of being suffering from a serious disease which is undiagnosed. And according to other statement, it is a serious anxiety disorder, or in simple word if I tell you, it is a worry problem. According to Indian Journal of Psychiatry, 20% of population suffer from one or another kind of anxiety disorder, and mine case was acute one. 20% mean 28 crore or 1 in 5. Many of you sitting around here would also be suffering from one or another kind of anxiety disorder. And according to an article published in WebMD in July 2012, it states that even if a person is suffering from a minor anxiety disorder, he tends to live 10 years shorter than the person who is not having such disease. So hypochondria, anxiety or worry is a serious thing to handle. It is a serious thing to work out. So I received a prescription from the doctor, and I was equally amazed, because in that prescription it was not the list of medicine what I was supposed to take on regular basis, it was the name of a book. Obviously I caught hold of that book and read it, but I had to change and work very hard to get out of this disease. So what was the first thing I did? First thing I did was I changed my lifestyle from sedentary to very active. I was doing an office job. Now I started waking up early at 5 o'clock in the morning, used to go for a walk. Coming home, I used to run on the treadmill for around 20-30 minutes. I used to do some yoga also. So running on a treadmill for around 20-30 minutes at a high speed gave me a confidence that, Gurmeet, if you have survived this, you are not going to fall suddenly out of heart attack. So some confidence was built up. Another amazing thing that I noted was that as long as I was sitting in the office, I used to be fine. But the moment I used to start my journey way back home, by that time I used to reach home in half an hour or 40 minutes, I used to fall sick, and some kind of sensation used to prop up into my body, and that used to lead me to visiting a doctor. It used to get so severe. So observing that, what I did was I started keeping myself more and more busy. So I took up additional responsibility in my profession, and also other than professions, like some of my RW activities in our society and other social activities with family and friends. And I kept myself busy starting from 5 in the morning till 9 o'clock in the night, and by that time I used to get tired and used to fall asleep very early. So that also helped me getting out of this problem. But one major thing that I did was I worked on to my diet and changed it. Since then, 2 of my meals, that is morning breakfast and evening dinner, are comprised of raw fruits and vegetables. And there is one regular meal which is lunch, in which I take dal, roti, sabji. This made a major difference. My weight was reduced by 16 kg. I started feeling myself very active. My hypertension issue was gone without any medicine. My palpitation issue also subsided. And of course, because of this meal, there was no indigestion problem. I started feeling like I am healthy now. But there was one thing still left. That was the mind. Because anxiety or worry related issue don't come in the body, they come in the mind first. So I had to handle my mind. So just to demonstrate how I conquered my mind, may I request you to please close your eyes for a few moments. Please close your eyes. Now imagine the Statue of Liberty in front of you. See every detail of it. Now imagine Agra Taj Mahal in front of you, and see every detail of that also. Switch back to Statue of Liberty for a moment, and now switch back again to Taj Mahal. Keeping eyes closed, now I request you to please focus and try to see both of these monuments together. Both of these monuments side by side. Okay, please open your eyes. Were you able to focus on both of these monuments together at the same time? Correct. No. You know, our mind is a very old computer created by the God. It is not like modern computer who can process multiples or millions of command lines at a single instance. It doesn't do so. It works sequentially. It processes one command at a time. It can only focus what is there right now in your hand. So I used this quality of mind to cure myself. Whenever any negative thought or worry thought used to crop up into my mind or come into my mind, I used to replace it with the happier thought, mostly the playful faces of my children and of any other happy moment I used to enjoy or love. So, practicing regularly, slowly and slowly, such kind of incidences reduced, and after some time there was no negative thought coming into my mind. Dear friend, worry is a serious business. Anxiety is a serious problem. It can actually reduce your life up to around 10 years. So it has to be taken care of. You know, a tree standing in the jungle who has withstood hundreds of storms, rains, heat and low temperature and have stood fine as has been successfully living, you know how does it falls down? A simple thing like termite. When it enters into the tree, from the above everything looks fine, but from inside it eats it away, and within months that tree is fallen. The same thing happens with a human. When worry creeps into your body, it starts killing you from inside and you actually die early. So what is required is have a look. Have a look, have knowledge what it is, and if it is there, work on to cure it. Dear friend, kill the worry or it is going to kill you. Thank you.